Welcome to Ari Garber's People and Personality Show on MeetAdvisors.com. Ari and his guest will be bringing you education and insanity shortly.
Hi there, welcome back to People and Personality on MeetAdvisors.com. I am your show host, Ari Garber. Today I'm joined by my dear old friend, Barbara Gilleece. Hi Barbara, how are you?
Hi Ari, and thanks for having me on today. I really appreciate it.
I'm delighted to have you here. And by the way, I did not just call Barbara old, I said we were old friends. I'm honestly, I got your name correct.
Yes.
The last name. Barbara and I are such old friends that I've never really spoken her last name out loud, and I wanted to make sure. So thank you for being here and instructing me on that.
Oh, well, thank you again for having me.
You are here very specifically because several people have emailed me who've watched my show. And they know me from prior roles with other firms where I've been known to throw events. I wouldn't go so far as to call myself an event planner. I would call you a professional event planner.
Yes.
But you were always one of my secrets to success with my events. And so since people were saying, hey, you're coming in contact with all of these entrepreneurs and we're building our businesses, how did you throw events in the past? And I kind of learned on the fly, and then it got too big, but I discovered that I really needed an ace in the hole, my super secret squirrel, and you are she or it. So thanks for being here. Let's talk for a minute about your background, how you got into this, and then we'll get into what you do and how you make people like me look good.
Sure, I'd love to tell you. Years and years ago, I started as a waitress in restaurants working. And at one restaurant, I moved up to a trainer, and I trained all the staff before they went out onto the floor on service and menu. So I had a lot of background in training, and I do use that training to train my staff too.
Sure. And so I think that's actually where I first came into contact with you, because I threw an event which was larger than my staff could handle, and I really needed some staff augmentation, and that's really the original core of your business.
Right.
And so you still do a fair amount of staffing. So
Yes.
So for our viewers and friends who are thinking about throwing events, they can engage with you on that. But your range of services is much greater than that.
Yes, it is.
So where is your business today and what can you handle?
I do catering, staffing, rentals, and floral and cakes.
And so those are all very specific areas of your business. But where you really shine and where I kind of feel like the true value that Barbara brings to the table is you're an event creator. And so I can literally come to you and say, hey Barbara, I need to do something. I don't know what. I just call you up and the next thing I know you're in my office. Take us through that initial interaction, which is where you create these unbelievable visions and then execute with all of your product lines.
Oh, sure. What I usually do is make house calls to all my customers. I need to have a vision of what the place looks like, where we'll be putting tables and where we'd be putting the food. Then I go over if it's a theme or not, because some parties are theme parties, and I've done a lot of those. And then we might go over color too. You know, do they have a specific color in mind? With a lot of corporations, they have their own standard colors for their events. So I would sit down and talk with them about that, and then come back later with some pricing for them, and just come back and take care of everything for them, so they didn't have to do anything. The only thing they have to do is just say yes or no to me on the phone, and I take care of the rest. It makes it really nice for them.
It really does, and we should specify that sort of capability is almost a blank check and a blind trust. Not everyone has that luxury. Many of us work with constraints, whether it's budget, whether it's venue.
Yes.
And since so much of our audience is entrepreneurial and says, well, I don't have a $20,000 budget for this. I need you to work within these constraints. How do you go about, how does one such as myself go about engaging with you, where we really do have these elements that kind of rein in the scope of what can be done? How do you approach that?
How do you plan a party on a budget? if it's more a private event, what you can do is do it in someone's home, number one. You can have some of your guests bring part of the food. You can do some food, or you can do a partial catering. The best bet for you is to do chicken instead of beef, because it's more economical.
Sure. So these are really, really tactical. I mean,
Yes.
and you go all the way down to these small details with how you approach
Right.
this. So, we just moved into our new studio here, and we have a budget, and we're thinking about doing an event. But I have a whole bunch of staff here, and so they're willing to do some of that. And you're willing to engage with sort of mixed
Certainly.
staff. And how do we think about doing that with you? Do we control that? Do we just come to you? Is it a dialogue?
Yes, we would have a dialogue about it.
It's really a very much collaborative thing
Right,
here.
exactly.
And I have the luxury and the pleasure of knowing you for so many years and knowing that you really do function collaboratively with your client base. Let me ask you a couple of off-the-wall questions. What is the craziest client request you've ever gotten?
Well, the craziest thing I've ever done is to do a party in a warehouse. It was a complete empty warehouse. We took the paving trucks out and just created this elegant Christmas party for my customer.
In a paving warehouse.
Yes.
Okay, so that definitely wins the Crazy Venue Award of the week. Let's talk for a minute about a responsibility. This has always been a concern of mine because I frequently serve alcohol at my events. First of all, your staff licensed, bonded, insured, yes?
Yes, correct.
Shouldn't have to ask that, but I do. What do I do if I'm concerned about my guests drinking and driving? I hire a licensed, bonded bartender.
Right, correct. And then it's a good idea if you can go to your insurance company and see if you can buy a one-day liquor insurance policy to keep everyone safe. And yourself included.
Yeah.
Because it is a big liability.
I didn't even think about that. Just call my broker or my agent. All right.
Right.
Well, it's a good thing we have a couple of those on Meet Advisors as well. Fantastic. We're getting to the end of our time here. I have one more question about business for you. What can't you do?
There's nothing I can't do, Ari.
I should add that was kind of a setup question because I've asked Barbara some crazy ones over the years and she's never failed me yet. I have not asked you for a private plane, nor have I asked you for penguins.
Right.
Okay.
But we could do it.
We'll work on that for future events here at Meet Advisors.
Perfect.
Traditional last closing question, out of left field. I didn't prep you for this. Here you go. I have a media platform now, and I like to be a good member of my community. So I have started asking all my guests, what is your favorite charity or philanthropy? Why do you support them? And how do we find them and get in touch with them if we like their message?
I like the company Dress for Success. It's for women that have been battered, and the Dress Barn gives them a new suit to go out and do job interviews. And so we did a fashion show years back, and we gave our money to that company so that they could get new suits for the women that were
love that. And I'm familiar
battered.
with similar organizations that do prom dresses for disadvantaged kids. That's fantastic. So for battered women, we can get them a job interview wardrobe.
Right.
And do you happen to know their URL off the top of your head?
I think it's Dress for Success. You can find them that way.
And we'll see about putting a link in the show notes once the show is posted live on Meet Advisors, and we'll do that.
Thank you.
So, no, thank you. You're definitely the first guest who's responded with that, and that's a great organization. And thank you for being here and sharing both some really technical, tactical details of doing events and telling us about your capabilities and telling us your story of organic entrepreneurial growth of your business, which I think is awesome.
Again, thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, what a
Such
delight.
a pleasure.
I always love seeing you. And thank you to our audience for joining us once again on the People and Personality Show on MeetAdvisors.com. I'm your show host, Ari Garber, today joined by Barbara Gilleece of Barbara's Elegant Touch. Have a great day, and please invite us to your next events and perhaps ask Barbara to help produce them. Take care. Thank you.
Bye.